Well, good evening. How are you all today? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I had a friend of mine call me this morning, a good old friend, a man I consider a brother. He happens to be black, and he called me, and he asked me a question that he's asked me before, and that is, do I think there's going to be a race war? I've talked about this before, but as a result of this latest thing that happened in Cincinnati, of course, it's on everybody's mind. So I'm gonna talk about it again. And for all you little racists out there who want to come on and make racist comments, feel free, but you'll be banned. So and nobody will see your racist comment. So do what you think you must. It gives me an idea of who is out there. Before we get into that, and let me tell you this. No, I'm not going to tell you my answer. I will tell you my answer after this. Before we get into it, I want to let you know about a couple of things that I think you might be very, very interested in. A couple of books not written by me. As you might know, I have suspended taking orders of my books through our website because we have too many orders, and I'm not taking any more. Well, you can if you want to, but if you want them, get them through Amazon for now. Let me catch up. But if you want them, go ahead and order. Just be willing to wait for a month or so, okay? Until I get caught up with everybody else. But I have a couple of books here I want to let you know about, and that I think you might be interested in. The first one is A Shattered World in the Wake of Chaos. It is by Parker Kelly, one of our viewers, one of our patrons over on the Patreon channel. Parker and I have exchanged a few messages. She seems like I haven't met her yet. Seems like a very nice person. She and her husband will probably be at our, hopefully, will be at our get-together, our gathering in October. More information will be coming on that soon. But it sounds like a very, very interesting book. Maybe she'll be at the gathering with some books that she can sign for you if you'd like to buy them from her, the author. Let me just read the first. I have another book to show you in a second. Again, not mine. I'll read the first paragraph on this you might be interested to hear. The sound was similar to a beast unleashed, a deafening roar that tore through the silence of the night like an unrelenting tempest. It was a kind of noise that rips you from the depths of slumber and hurls you into a whirlwind of terror, drilling panic deep into your bones as if a tornado had just smashed into your world, leaving chaos in its wake. Well, if that doesn't make you want to read the rest of it, I don't know what. Good writing. Those people don't realize how hard it is to write books. And occasionally I'll get people that will come on and when I talk about my books, and they'll say, why are you always pumping your books? Well, that's how we make our living. You see, those of us who write for a living, we sell books for a living. And I want to let people know. Another one is by a friend of mine, also that you will recognize. Those of you who are on the Patreon channel, you'll recognize his name, and he leaves a lot of great posts, and it is Balkanized: The Collapse of the American Union by Mike Morton. And Mike is a former, retired law enforcement, also military in the United States. He currently lives in Colombia, where he trains. He goes all over the place, and he trains special military and police units down in South America, and such as that. I'm going to read this, and I've read. Some of you have gotten Mike's other books, and you know how good they are. I'll read the back of this. What if America is already coming apart? He says. There's Mike right there. Probably standing in the beautiful land of Colombia. What if America is already coming apart? In Balkanized, this book, veteran investigator Michael Moore delivers a ruthless expose of the fractures dividing the United States, from armed cartels in the Southwest, kind of what I write about in my books, right? to the collapsing cities in the Northeast. With raw reporting, hard evidence, and unflinching analysis, this book reveals the rise of regional power, the failure of federal authority, and the real-world signs of a nation unraveling. This is not a warning, it's a field report from the front lines of the new American divide. I can't wait to get into that. And I can't wait to get into A Shattered World. And then Mike also sent me some. These both Parker's book and Mike's are available on Amazon. Go get them. I know that Mike won't be at our gathering. He's already been up to Norte America this summer, and so he won't be there to sell his, sadly. But you can buy his on Amazon, and hopefully Parker will be up there to sell you some books. But Mike also sent me this. What a neat little book here, Pro Deo et Patria. And for those of you who don't speak Latin, which is most of you, a gratitude journal, 120 pages. It means for God and country. And on each page, this is a cool little book. Mike, thank you for sending this. Little book here, and you can see the different categories. It says, quote of the day. This is a journal that you keep, right? Today I am truly grateful for, and boy, we all have a lot to be grateful for, don't we? Here's what would make today great, I am, and then write what you are, grateful, Some amazing things that happened today. Some more amazing things that happened today, or some amazing things that happened tonight. And what could I have done to make today even better? What great thoughts those are. What great thoughts. Mike, thank you so much. I can't wait to get into this. I might try to get into this tonight. We will see. And Parker, can't wait to get into yours. I'll try to get into yours over the weekend. I'm busy, really busy over the next couple of days. And when I sit down to read fiction, I like to have some time I can really block out to where I can immerse myself in the atmosphere, kind of like when I write. Okay, so back to the subject at hand. Is there going to be a race war coming? Well, let me take a sip and I'll tell you. I'll tell you what my wife said. It's already here. A race war is already here. It's been here. It's been here for a long time. It's being fought by those who hate. Okay, there has been a great anti-white movement going on for a long time. Okay, now we know that those fellow citizens of ours who are black, their ancestors went through a long period of suppression during slavery. Now, also remember this: not all blacks were slaves. As a matter of fact, many slave owners were black. That's what a lot of people don't understand. I write about that extensively in my books. Did you know that during the South, before that War of Northern Aggression, only 4% of Southern whites owned slaves? This is important to know. That's right. But 25% of free blacks, of which there were many, 25% of them owned slaves. So see this idea that it was the whites that were the problem is ludicrous. And also, slavery has been around forever. Africa and the Middle East were really, the bastions of slavery. It's still going on in Africa and the Middle East. And it was Great Britain and the United States of America who outlawed slavery and put a stop to it in the West. You're welcome. Okay, for all of you who didn't know that. Now let's get back here though. But this ever since 1968 and the race riots of 1968, and when I was 14, I've told you how I lived kind of on the dividing line. It was a very interesting time. That's when things changed, and there came about this anti-white bigotry and feeling, this kind of getting back at the whites, clear back then. Now, in many cases, it wasn't overt, but when I went down, I've asked my black friends, when we talk about discrimination, And I said, yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of people that didn't like you because of your race, just like there's a lot of people that don't like me because of my race. But have you ever been discriminated against by law? Okay, now did you hear what I just said? By law. No, not since Jim Crow, okay? No, you have not. And then I tell them, I have. And they look at me and they're surprised. And I say, 1974, I went down to apply to Kansas City, Missouri Police Department, is where I always wanted to join. And they said, we are not taking applications from white males. Okay? Think about that for a moment. Don't worry. It gets better. I'm going to talk about more. That's when affirmative action was hitting hard. It's starting to hit hard. Forced integration. So I went a different way. I went through a different department, ended up on a sheriff's department, which was a much better fit for me. Somebody calling me? Hang on, half a second. Okay, so anyway, when I went through the academy, everybody went through the same academy, the Kansas City, Missouri Police Academy. It was the Northwest Regional Missouri Police Academy. There were a lot of women and minorities in that class. The minorities made it through, in many cases, with only 30% in academics. Okay, many of them couldn't write a report, couldn't spell, couldn't communicate well, but they were passed and made police officers. Most of the women got through with about a 30 or 40% on the physical side. Okay. They were a danger to the other officers out in the field as a result of that, because they couldn't pull their weight. Hey, I'm just being honest here, guys. And as a result of the minorities who were deficient academically, they couldn't write a report. The cases failed. The whole system started collapsing. That's when law enforcement started collapsing. Okay. So anyway, I just say that to say, you know what? This has been going on, this anti-white feeling, for a long time. Now, it was only really since Obama. Obama is the one who fanned the flames, institutionalized the anti-white, especially anti-white male hatred. Okay. And he was joined by a lot of minorities and many liberal women and liberal males. I won't call them men. Males. This has been bubbling for a long time. It has been bubbling for a long time. However, what we did not see was much of a pushback. And of course, over the years, all you have to do is you check the FBI statistics. And in interracial crime, the percentage of black on white crime far exceeds white on black crime. Okay, even though blacks are a very small minority, very small percentage, they still commit more interracial crimes against whites than whites do against blacks, because there is this latent hatred among certain elements of the black community. Now, does this mean all blacks? Of course not. I shouldn't even have to say that, okay? But somebody will come on here and call me racist. No, it's the stupid people, it's the ignorant people who hate. But those are the ones that the powers that be can drive. And we know that there are powers behind this. We always talking about this with my buddy. Yeah, we know that they are setting us against each other for all sorts of reasons, okay? I'm not even going to get into all those conspiracies that are real. But even though black against white crime was disproportionate to white against black crime, there was really no pushback from whites on that. I won't go into all the reasons. It's not important. Until recently. Now, we did see an increase in separatism. Over the years, the number of whites looking to separate from the greater society because they, white flight. Okay? I'm going to take you on a tour of the hood here in a few days when we get down there. We used to live in a beautiful neighborhood in Kansas City. It started changing, a different culture. It's just the way it is, okay? And that place is a stinking rat hole. Now, I mean, it's been a rat hole for years. So even though there was this anti-white hatred on the part of some blacks, there was no pushback from whites. Just a separatist movement. Hey, we don't want any of this. We're out of here. So when whites moved out of dangerous neighborhoods, they were called racist, and it was called white flight and all that. And then later on, now that they're going back into the cities that have been totally destroyed, and they're rebuilding these places and making them nice and places that people actually want to live now, sometimes in the cities, it's called gentrification. And once again, the whites, especially white men, are the perpetrators of this great crime of cleaning up the mess. Let me take another sip. We're going somewhere with this. So now there is getting to be a greater pushback. I'm getting this sense. Now, see, I can go on the internet, TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and all this. I can see all sorts of black people just hating whites, just hating them, saying that they shouldn't exist, saying that it's not okay even to be white. Saying also, there is no shortage of anti-white hating on the internet by black people. I don't find that the other way. Now, there may be some out there, but it is not even close to black against white. Whites are getting tired. Now, let me say this too. Some of the channels, the best channels pushing back against that black hatred, are black channels. They are. What the Hodge twins do a lot of good stuff. Officer Tatum does good stuff. JC, I've put up several on the and I'm going to be putting up more on the American Revival Patreon channel. There are several women. Modi Speaks, a black woman from Africa. There's another young woman, JC something or other. Well, just so smart, and she comes on. She pushes back against this black subculture of hate. Notice I said subculture, not culture. Most black people don't hate white people. Well, I assume they don't. I mean, they don't act like it, and that's all that I require, right? So some of the channels that are pushing back the most are black channels. That is so good to see, because it was the whites, and the young blacks aren't taught this. Even the old blacks aren't taught this. It was the whites who did away with slavery. There weren't enough blacks to do away with slavery. It was whites who did away with slavery. You're welcome. So anyway, but now there is a growing feeling. I see it, I feel it, I hear it among whites that we've had enough. And now there's going to be pushback. And now when we see things like what happened in Cincinnati, the anger, the disgust, the rage is building. When I say this, because I said this before, and it's a dangerous thing. It's going to be a horrible thing. I don't want it to happen. When I said this before, I know I'll get some on here. Oh yeah? Well, bring it on. Just look what your people did for 400 years. Bring it on. What an asinine thing to say. I mean, really, what a asinine thing to say. But you show your hatred when you say things like that. But here's my answer about, are we headed toward a race war? And as I told my friend, matter of fact, he's such a good friend, I made him vice president of the new Confederacy in my latest book. It's not going to be an overt war. It's not going to be an all hands on deck. Everybody who's black over here, everybody who's white over here, now go at it. No. Like my wife said, it's already going. But there's going to be small little battles here and there. And the battles are going to be like, I don't know how much bigger they will get. They're really, what they are is attacks right now. We are not seeing attacks against blacks by whites yet. And I hope we don't. But we are seeing an increasing number, and quite a few numbers, of attacks by blacks against whites. So, whether you want to call those battles or not, it is it's asymmetrical warfare. And the doing away, you can even look in DEI. That was a war against whites, white males. From my time, and where they wouldn't take my application in 1974 for a police department, to just a few years ago, the new president of Sam's Clubs, who was a black woman, said that she would do anything not to hire a white male. And if anybody had said that about a black, I've been a white person saying that about blacks, I'd do anything not to hire blacks. Oh my goodness gracious. Can you imagine what would have happened? It would still be going, it'd still be leading on the news. And Sam's Club would have been boycotted and shut down. But no, it was just perfectly fine for a black woman to say, I'd do anything except hire white males. Okay? See, that's the battle against whites. It's the battle against specifically white males. And I'll be real honest with you, if you want to see who built this country and most of the world, you can thank me again, because it's white males. What do people think they're going to do without us? Well, don't worry, they're not going to have to do without us, because we're staying. But the pushback is the dangerous part. If this continues, if racial attacks continue, I believe they're going to escalate. And I don't see any end to it as long as the poverty pimps, Al Sharpton, all those people, Jasmine Crockett, all these insane people, as long as they know they can get votes by pimping this hate, as long as they know they can make money from it, they're going to keep it up. And there will always be enough stupid, ignorant, uneducated people who will rise up, follow them, and carry out the violence that they want. They won't say they want it, but that's it. And that's why I don't see any end to it. So no, do I think we're going to have an all-out race war? No. We're going to continue to have this low-intensity race war as far out as I can see. But here's the thing. It's going to become more dangerous for everybody. It's going to become more dangerous for you, whoever you are. I don't care who you are. I don't want you to get hurt. And the good people, black and white, stand a chance of getting caught up in it. And too many of the leaders of certain segments of our society, Obama was one of the worst, and so was Biden. They want this racial hatred. They would love a race war. They are the ones pushing it. So those are my thoughts. It's not going to be a big war, but the little wars are going to continue, and it's dangerous for you. Be careful where you are. Right now, black people don't really have to be worried about any interracial violence. The biggest danger to black people is other black people. Simple as that. How many people are killed by other, how many black people are killed by other black people? It's astonishing. But anyway, white people need to be careful. You need to be careful where you go. You need to be careful what's around you. You need to be careful. And black people, you be careful too. You're just as important to me. I don't want anything to happen to you because of idiots. So that's my opinion on a coming race war. Remember, go to Amazon. If you want to buy my books through Amazon, you certainly may. There's links down below, or you can buy them through my website, stonemount.us. But get Parker's book, A Shattered World. What does it say? I don't have my glasses on. In the Wake of Chaos. Looks like a great one. I can't wait to get into it. And get Mike's book, Balkanized. You can see me squinting, right? Balkanized, The Collapse of the American Union. It's been happening for a long time. It probably has to happen. It will happen. Like it says here, this is not a warning, it's a field report from the front lines of the new American divide. The divides are already there. So get them, read them. You'll enjoy them and you'll learn a lot. Y'all have a good night. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.